From London, England, where the Queen lives.
Recorded live from an underground bunker and packaged into an MP3 with a pretty little picture. Helping to kickstart your day with the motivation and inspiration you need 365 days a year. This is the Learn, Develop, Live podcast. And this is your host, Chris Jaggs.
Good morning! Welcome to episode 76 of the Learn, Develop, Live podcast. I'm your host Chris Jaggs, back once again in the hot seat for another chapter of the LDL adventure. It is of course Monday! Woohoo! Come on, look at that, episode 76. Where does the time go? This week I'd like to look at what people have experienced in life. Those that have lived it, both good and bad, in the world. Now, have you ever done something that you deeply regret? Do you wish you could go back in your time machine and change what happened? Just how do you move on and learn to live life with no regrets? Now, I think we all know, but it's pretty much impossible, isn't it? It's impossible to go through life with no regrets at all. But if you're listening to this right now and you think you've managed to have no regrets in life, please let me know how you've done it. Chris@learndeveloplive.com. Let me know and I'll share it with the class. There was a recent survey where retired Brits revealed their top 40 pearls of wisdom to pass on to the younger generation. These include saying I love you more often and being more confident in your own skin. But before we look at the rest of the survey, let's have that quick message and we'll get right into it.
If this podcast had adverts, they would probably play around about now. This is the Learn, Develop, Live podcast.
If you like this podcast, you can get even more motivation at learndeveloplive.com.
Welcome back. Now let's get right into this then. Now you can travel around the world, you can work in all sorts of places, and even find yourself in every type of situation. We've all done things in our life that we want to go back and do again if we have the chance. But does that mean that we have to live with regret? Now there are some thoughts on how you can adopt the attitude of living with no regrets at all, but never be hard on yourself if and when you do have that odd thought. You could start by letting yourself off the hook. Now one of the greatest problems in life is we don't forgive ourselves for the mistakes that we've made. We carry them around with us, we beat ourselves up about them. One way to understand this is the person who did those things in the past is not the same person that you are today. In fact, you are actually a completely different person with different experiences, different knowledge, different wisdom, and different insights. The person who did those things that you regret is not you. It was a younger version of yourself, almost like another person altogether. So let yourself off the hook. You're allowed to after all. Keep in mind that everyone does make mistakes. Now making mistakes is a normal part of life. It's actually as natural as breathing in and breathing out. Mistakes are what help us grow and what help us learn. They are what help us become different versions of ourselves. The next time you're feeling burdened by regret, try saying to yourself, I freely forgive myself for any mistake that I've ever made. And repeat it. You can then forgive yourself and you can move on and get on with your life. You can look for the lesson. Once whatever has happened, and you can look back at it, ask yourself, what did I learn from this experience? What is this experience trying to teach me? And should I be doing more of something or less of something so I don't make the same mistake again? If you look into your most difficult experiences for a lesson, you will always find one. As long as you learn from each experience and take that learning with you to another experience, that is progress. That's living without regret. Now, that survey I mentioned earlier, what exactly did the retired Brits want to pass on to the younger generation? Their pearls of wisdom, as they say. The poll of 1,000 retired adults passed on that you should say I love you more often, as well as being confident in your own skin, as the two biggest pieces of advice. Also, never to compare yourself to others, to phone your family at least once a week, and to enjoy your youth while you still have it. Others warned the younger ones to enjoy their youth, exercise more, and to step outside of their comfort zone. The questionnaire found that 67% of the retirees do have regrets, such as not travelling the world, 44%, worrying what other people thought, 43%, and not keeping physically fit, 40%. A lot of the insight revolves around enjoying life, respecting others, and being the best that you can be, which I'm sure most of you would agree with. Interestingly enough, the older generation would recommend appreciating your younger body and wishing they kept physically fit. I guess it really does catch up with you at the end of the day. The poll also found that when casting their minds back to their childhood years, older retirees miss the hot summers, 37%, playing outside until the streetlights came on, 36%, and family holidays at 30%. The study also revealed that retirees would like to pass on more practical advice, such as getting on a company pension scheme, saving for your retirement in your 20s, and investing in property. Now, I'm not sure what it's like for the rest of the world, but definitely in the UK, there is more talk and advice about getting that pension of yours up and running, contribute extra, which will only help your future self. Regardless of ability, 89% said they might be old, but they're still young at heart. And I get that. I still don't mentally feel the age I actually am. I think when I was younger, I always thought that I'd feel different, but apparently not. Also, 1 in 10 have tried yoga or Tai Chi since retiring. 23% have gone to concerts, and 29% have taken on a community garden plot, showing that there's always time to take on new hobbies and interests. I remember late last year, after a few months of the UK lockdown, one of my older neighbours, they'd be out in the garden in the morning doing some Tai Chi, and I always remember thinking just how at peace she looked. Right then, so from the survey itself, here are the top 40 tips from retired Brits that they would like to give to the younger generation, in no particular order of importance. Treat others how you'd like to be treated. Manners don't cost a thing. Always try your best. Accept a company pension scheme if offered. Don't spend all your time with social media and live in the real world. Start saving for your retirement in your 20s. Don't take anything for granted. You don't have to go to university for a successful career. Hold on to those closest to you. Be confident in your own skin. Respect your elders. Enjoy your youth. Never give up. Do what makes you happy. Family comes first. Don't waste your time on jealousy. Don't compare yourself to others. Don't go to sleep on an argument. Invest in property. Phone your parents every week. Say I love you more. Do not have regrets. Don't sweat about the small stuff. Spend more time outside. Exercise more. Never go to bed angry. Laugh more at everything. Be more patient. Be more confident. If you don't ask, you don't get. Don't compare your style to others. Appreciate your younger body. Try something new. Don't take things personally. Spend more time with your children. Step outside your comfort zone. Don't overindulge. Phone your grandparents every week. Remember the compliments that you receive, and less is more. So there you have it. 40 pearls of wisdom from the older generation being passed to the younger generation. Now, how many of those have you heard of before? How many of those sparked an interest you? And how many do you want to act upon now? There is plenty still to get stuck into, and even just starting from one today, it could change your life and your prospective years to come. But like most things, you just need to get started, don't you? I'm going to finish up with a quote from the great Brian Tracy and then let that set in for you. Your life today is the result of all your choices and decisions in the past. When you make new choices, you create a new future. So now you've got some advice from the older generation. Do you want to take that a little bit further and unlock the real reasons that you're trying to get yourself out of bed every day? You can always activate your free 30-minute Learn, Develop, Live Power Call right now by going to ldlcall.com. Find a time slot best for you, and let's see what the Learn, Develop, Live method can do for you. Let's see if we can find the real meaning for the motivation to your life. Now, I'll speak to you all soon, and as for the podcast, thank you always for listening. I appreciate you being here. Have an incredible week, and I'll see you in the next one.
The Learn, Develop, Live podcast, helping you become the person your dog thinks you are.
That would be very nice.
Goodbye.
What? It's over already?
All over.
Thank you for listening to the Learn, Develop, Live podcast. I hope you feel as warm, motivated, and fuzzy inside as I do. You can connect with Chris at learndeveloplive.com or on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
I won't say goodbye. I'll just say until we meet again.
Until next time, join the motivation. 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 Motivation.